Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Vault 710. Tonight we invite you to the Wasteland and into the Greener Pastures audio series. Our story is set in the Fallout universe, positioning us in the frozen tundra, many years after the Great War. Be prepared to imagine a world far bigger than the lower 48. Now here's your vault suit and your Pip-Boy. Settle in and try to get warm, while we tell the tale of hot snow, strange creatures, and conspiracy. Also, why you should never bring a mini-nuke underground. Please, enjoy.
Technova Marigold's Log. March 21st, 2296. Marie doesn't tap out the tunes like she used to. She doesn't talk as much either. She's my best friend. I can't let her freeze me out like that. She'll tell me what's going on, even if I have to tie her up. This has to do with her theories again. I might lose it. I told her that if she kept pursuing her conspiracies, she'd find herself on the Overseer's bad side. I want to see what would happen if she got her hands on Brooks' terminal. She could see for herself what he's up to. If she did find something, she just might shake the vault up. Who knows, maybe the Overseer really is up to something shady. It would be interesting for a little while, break up some of this monotony. I don't know what she would do if any of her theories were proven true. Even if the Overseer is keeping things deliberately cold, he's the only one with control over the terminal connected to the heating coils. Same goes for our crude oil levels. If they were really as low as she thinks, we wouldn't even have the energy necessary to keep these terminals active. One thing does stand out. It's hard to ignore the fact that Vault-Tec never installed a secondary energy source. A nuclear reactor, or even some sort of geothermal energy source would have been a perfect backup. In the event that we run out of oil, this vault will become a frozen tomb.
Overseer's Log, March 21st, 2296. The survey team finally brought me something of value. Traces of uranium. Signs of an oil seep nearby. I've never been more excited. When the Geigers started going off, I thought the worst. Perhaps we'd come across a pre-war nuclear material dump. Instead, the universe gave us unenriched, raw ore, potentially a lead to a large oil deposit. I'm going to get Luke to do a deeper analysis, maybe call in a few of his teammates just to be absolutely certain. I need to be careful when I head down. I can't show him how excited I am. This couldn't have come at a better time. Lately, I've had to put more pressure on the old folks. They've been trying to force me to raise the heat, threatening to tell people the truth. The look on Marie's face would be priceless. They're the only ones that remember how warm it was before my dad turned off the heat. Now that their generation is getting old and their joints are hurting, they want to fight to turn the heat back on. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. I need to leave the heaters on low and minimize our diesel manufacturing until we reach a new source of energy. I want to tell them the truth, but I can't, so I'm forced to be the scary old overseer just like my grandfather. The younger generation wouldn't remember him. At least not when he was in charge. This place ran like clockwork when he was behind the wheel. Security Log, March 22nd, 2296. In all my years of running security in this vault, nothing like this has ever happened. I'm not the oldest cock on the roost. I've seen a thing or two in my time, but nothing like this though. No one has ever come in through the main vault door. Where this man came from is anyone's guess. The door never opened. We all would have heard that. It wasn't even me who found him first. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and Officer Dennis was on rounds at the time. He woke me up first. I don't know if I should have given him shit for waking me up first, and not the Overseer. I didn't have much time to think about it. When he filled me in on what happened, I went to the Overseer immediately. After we secured the intruder and locked him in the infirmary, we took a breath and held a meeting. Feldspar might get something out of him. I'll have to debrief her along with Technova when they finish getting the man stable. The real problem remains, we don't know where he came from. I only come to one unsavory conclusion. The Overseer has a separate, secret way out of this vault, and somehow this man got access. We only found him when he was too tired to hide and collapsed from exhaustion in the atrium. Right now, the Overseer is a secondary problem. I'll see what I can get out of our friend when he finally comes to. I have a feeling he'll be able to cement my theory. I commandeered his weaponry. He'll not be getting that back. is as ancient as this vault. It had Greenland Pharaoh Guard written on the side. No idea what that means. He kept it in lovely condition, though. I'll have to try it on the firing range soon. Of course this would happen on the day of rest when no one has to work. Instead, they'll be free to get in our business while we try to figure out exactly what is going on. Overseer's Log, March 22nd, 2296. No one knows how we got in. Thank God. Kilroy might be the only one who can point the finger at me. I'll need to keep an eye on him. The day began mostly like any other. It was supposed to be the day of rest for everyone, including me. Everyone's in an uproar with theories and speculations on how this man could have found his way into the vault. I don't care enough to listen to all the rumors floating around. The simple fact is, he came in from the outside using my escape tunnel. Somehow, he managed to find the password for the secret tunnel. That could only happen if he got his hands on one of our Pip-Boys. He did have a Pip-Boy on his wrist, an older model, pretty beat up, but it looked like one of ours. He'd managed to access the control panel on the outside and bypass my security protocols using my password. He was discovered in the atrium on his way to the lavatory. Somehow, he knew where to go to find hot water. He was definitely suffering from some degree of hypothermia. I don't know how I'm going to contain this yet. Things could get out of control very quickly if I don't act swiftly. From Overseer Brooks to Kilroy McCarver. Subject, keep your mouth shut. Listen, we have a big issue on our hands. I can't have it spilling out before we can get a handle on it. The last thing we need is a full-scale revolt, or worse yet, people trying to think for themselves and deciding the answers we give them aren't good enough. The faster we get ahead of this, the better. I want to see all of your men on high alert watching for any suspicious behavior. Who knows what could happen when the vault is in chaos like this. Be sure to check in with me on an hourly basis and I will update you on the status of our unwelcome guest as it becomes available. Keep an eye on Marie as well. She may use this as an excuse to stir up some trouble. The younger ones still listen to her. You know what will happen if you fail me. We've come a long way in this vault in the last few hundred years. Let's not go back to the way things used to be. As much as we might enjoy thinking about it, we still need to be civil. The best way to do that is by keeping our mouths shut and following the status quo. Removing this man from the vault would be my first reaction. We can't risk making people angry. I really don't care if the man dies, but the bleeding hearts will. You know who I mean. I'll talk to you soon, and make sure Anders stays out of this too. He's too much of a goody-goody to understand what's at stake.
Technova Marigold's Log, March 22nd, 2296. I helped carry the intruder down to the hospital. I tried talking with him to keep him awake. He listed in and out while he described smoked fish, snowy jungles, shifting colors in the sky. Every time he talked about something, it was a bit quieter. It almost seemed like he was recounting a dream, one that made him smile. I wished I could see it too. It sounded beautiful. There wasn't much I could do for him. Dr. Rebecca wrapped him up as tight as she could, placing water bottles on his legs and torso. Tomorrow, when the heat turns on, we're going to try and warm him up a bit better. The overseer refused to heat the vault up one day earlier. I think he's scared. Maybe he's hoping Gregor dies, and whatever information he had with him, the reason he came, what it truly looks like outside, and whether there are people who survived in Alaska after the bombs.
Overseer's Log, March 22nd, 2296. Shower day. The vault will all be busy enjoying the hot water. They didn't notice when I went down to Rebecca's infirmary. I grabbed the Pip-Boy while she cleaned him up and tried to get him warm. His Pip-Boy is weird. It's definitely one of ours, though. It doesn't have the same interface. He must have rebooted it and changed the language settings. The maps are different, too. They extend beyond the ones we have in our own databases. They're far more detailed, too. They're still pre-war maps, so it's hard to tell if they're an accurate representation of what still exists above ground. I read some of the notes in it. It appears it was wiped rather recently, most likely when it was rebooted with a new language model. The earliest note is from yesterday. I haven't figured out how to translate it to English yet, though. Once I find out what language it is, I'll have all the answers I need on where this man came from and why he broke into our vault. I placed it in my office so I can investigate it further.
Patient name, Gregor Dahl. Age, birth date, unknown. Height, 5 feet 11 inches. Weight 190 pounds. Race Caucasian. Hair color brown. Eye color blue. Allergies unknown. Medications unknown. Place of origin Greenland. Identifying marks: tattoo over right eye and right part of face. Branding on back of left hand. Medical history: scars on chest indicating surgery, multiple bullet wounds and shrapnel lodged in the chest and left arm. Nails missing on right index and left ring fingers. Tip of left ear removed. Cause of death: exhaustion, hypothermia, radiation, burns to extremities. Cause for revival: unknown.
Anyone interacting with this man should be wearing a hazmat suit. The first above-ground patient to have come to the vault since we were locked down here. I have no precedent for a situation like this. His body is emitting a massive amount of radiation. If he hadn't died from his injuries, his radiation levels would have taken him out sooner or later. There was pooling around the gums, he was severely emaciated, the skin on his extremities had a greenish tinge, most likely a mix of jaundice combined with his exposure to the cold. I didn't know a person could survive with this much physical trauma, let alone move their body of their own volition after. I didn't expect him to last very long, but I will do my best to get him cleaned up for burial.
Overseer's Log, March 24th, 2296. Everyone wants information I don't have right now. More accurately, I can't think of a serviceable lie. Something that will scare them away from trying to figure out more about this man Gregor. I keep getting questions about Greenland. It's all Marigold's fault for opening her mouth. They want to know whether the surface is survivable and when we can expect to be able to participate in Reclamation Day. A small minority are suspicious and afraid of how this man made it into the vault in the first place. A few dwellers might even be suspecting he came from my office somehow. The few people who came to see me were snooping around, trying to inspect my office for trapdoors or loose panels in the wall. The main problem is that he was found nowhere near the vault door. I can't think of a reason for that. I'm going to spend the rest of my term as overseer dealing with people digging through my office to figure out how he got in. I finally got a chance to look at the pip-boy our intruder had, though. His name was Gregor Dahl. I charted his route through northern Canada, then up here through the southeast of Alaska. He went a long way. Most of his notes say something about running from Urlavirsinok, some kind of weather-changing monster, and Ikusik, corpses from desecrated graves. Whatever he was running from, I doubt it followed him across multiple countries. Across his travels, he came across a few settlements. This is our first conclusive evidence there's people on the surface who have found a way to live in an irradiated Alaska. I can't let this get out. More people will sign on with whatever idiotic expedition any dissenters intend to embark on. They could just wait a bit longer. We will find the oil, and I'll be able to warm the vault permanently. They'll be safe and warm again. They would no longer have a reason to want to leave. Maybe I'm lying to myself. No matter what, there will always be people who want to see what surface life is like. If they knew the feeling of freezing wind solidifying their muscles, they would never complain. I admit, in my younger days, I wanted to see it for myself too. I'm glad my grandfather beat that out of me at an early age. Who knows what could have happened. When I was old enough to use the secret passage myself, I couldn't stand being outside. I endured it for more than a minute before I felt the sickening heat under the frostbite. Radiation wafting into my face disguised as fluffy white snowflakes. A small rebellion of people who want to go outside is building. I have a list of possible dissenters who might try to exit the vault. I don't think they realize. We have no equipment that can properly prepare them for the harshness of the outside. We have no surplus water. There's never much food. We haven't been able to cultivate much recently. Even mushrooms haven't been viable this year. I don't want them to die out there, but I also don't want anyone to get hurt trying to stop them. I don't think they're going to do anything right now. They're going to wait and bide their time. If I had to guess who is going to spearhead the operation, I would guess David or Marie, both of whom have expressed anti-Vault sentiment in the past. With David, I suspect it mostly comes from resentment he has towards his father. People can't learn this information. If they leave, everything will fail, and those left behind will turn this place into a frozen tomb. If only they could hold out until I found the oil and started raising the temperature. I'm so close to getting it figured out. I wish I could tell them.
Vault-Tec Mail. From Lucy Charger to Luke Charger. Subject: Stop reading my diary. You're a fucking asshole. Stop it. Melanie Drayton's log. March 25th, 2296. There's a group of people who think it's a good idea to go outside the vault. They want to see if there's somewhere warmer, somewhere that has fresh air and a view of the sky. Some are talking about breaking into the overseer's office to commandeer the Pip-Boy Gregor had. Then they could follow his route and see the land his people call home. No one wanted to listen to Marie, once again, when she talked about potential dangers we might encounter once we left the vault. Except Neil and Newton, they agreed and forced the others to listen. Gregor was probably running from something bad, if he tried breaking in here to seek shelter. No one could argue with that. From the looks of it, he'd been running for a long time. No man goes through that much cold unless the alternative is deeply unpleasant.
Overseer's log. March 25th, 2296. I don't know who, but someone tried to sneak into my office. Luckily, I have it under lock and key, so they weren't able to get in and grab whatever it was they were searching for. One of the security guards heard the scraping of metal. A screwdriver was lying next to my door. This means there's a group of people getting serious about leaving. I should have a chat with everyone and see whether they've truly thought about the repercussions of this foolish expedition. This is the only way of life they've known. None of us could imagine the horrors that await topside. A lot of these people are important engineers, surveyors, doctors. We can't afford to lose a single one. When we finally do reach the oil, it'll be all hands on deck in order to extract it. Soon, we will be getting the drill ready to bore out the tunnel. I'm feeling good about it. Anything can happen during that time. People could get injured, there's the plethora of safety equipment that needs calibration, then there's the regular old grunt work. We need lots of hands to see that through. If we lose half the vault, I don't even know if we would have the people necessary to operate the drill, even for short spurts. We'd never reach the oil, we'd be dead in the water, frozen carcasses staring out into the void, our silent screams a testament to man's folly.
Patient name: Gregor Dahl. Age, birth date, unknown. Height: 5 feet 11 inches. Weight: 190 pounds. Race: Caucasian. Hair color: brown. Eye color: blue. Allergies: unknown. Medications: unknown. Place of origin: Greenland. Identifying marks: tattoo over right eye and right part of face. Branding on back of left hand. Medical history: scars on chest indicating surgery, multiple bullet wounds and shrapnel lodged in the chest and left arm. Nails missing on right index and left ring fingers. Tip of left ear removed. Cause of death: exhaustion, hypothermia, radiation, burns to extremities. Cause for revival: unknown.
He's awake. We were nearly ready to start putting him in the ground before he sat up. He still emits the radiation, but his wounds and burns have disappeared. We still don't have a safety procedure for how to deal with his existence. We've decided to leave him inside the hazmat suit we were going to bury him in. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to tell Brooks when he asks why this man is walking around the vault acting like he didn't just skirt death by a few minutes. Something is still wrong with him, though. Through the visor and inside the containment room where we have him stored, I can see that not only are the sores and injuries healed, but they contain scar tissue that looks like it's been forming for years. Update. Brooks says we're keeping this a secret for now. As far as everyone else is concerned, he's in a coma. I'm going to tell anyone who asks that I simply made an error because I wasn't able to sense his heartbeat. I only noticed when I saw condensation fogging his visor.
Preston Margrave's notes. March 25th, 2296. There's going to be a secret meeting today to discuss whether we want to leave the vault. I'm nervous and excited at the same time. I want to see how people react. Many people's feelings are split. I hear the whispers that suddenly go silent when Brooks walks by. There must be people who feel the same way as me, watching and waiting to see which way the ice will freeze. If things go the way Marigold and the other younger dwellers hope, tonight we'll be planning the exodus from the vault. At least that's my hope, providing everyone shows up without the Overseer finding out. It's hard to tell how far word of our meeting spread. At least that's what everyone else thinks. We're an enclosed society. Information spreads faster than heated oil. It's possible that the Overseer or a member of the Vault security team could show up to try to disperse us. We're choosing to meet in the library. It's Saturday today, which is the day for good deeds. We're going to meet under the guise of organizing the entire book collection. That should ensure we're not overheard. And we can collect any relevant material at the same time.
Rebecca Feldspar's Physician Terminal. March 25th, 2296.
He's awake. We were nearly ready to start putting him in the ground before he sat up. He still emits the radiation, but his wounds and burns have disappeared. We still don't have a safety procedure for how to deal with his existence. We've decided to leave him inside the hazmat suit we were going to bury him in. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to tell Brooks when he asks why this man is walking around the vault acting like he didn't just skirt death by a few minutes. Something is still wrong with him, though. Through the visor and inside the containment room where we have him stored, I can see that not only are the sores and injuries healed, but they contain scar tissue that looks like it's been forming for years. Update. Brooks says we're keeping this a secret for now. As far as everyone else is concerned, he's in a coma. I'm going to tell anyone who asks that I simply made an error because I wasn't able to sense his heartbeat. I only noticed when I saw condensation fogging his visor.
Group meeting minutes. March 25th, 2296. Expedition group meeting minutes. Group attendance: Marie Desandre, Luke Charger, Technova Marigold, Daniel Trejoli, Rebecca Feldspar, Laura Demeter, Christian Demeter, Davin Scovald, Melanie Drayton, Paige Queen, Newton Wainwright, Preston Margrave, David Fullmeister, Ronald Perlson, Anders Anderson, and Neil Leeson.
Laura Demeter. I can't help but feel as if everyone here is wondering the same thing I am. What's it like outside? Especially where this man, Gregor, came from. It's too bad Rebecca hasn't been able to fully revive him. Now we're left with the same questions we grew up wondering. I think most of us want to go and see for ourselves. I think most of you would agree with me. In this meeting, we should talk about a plan for when we get topside and what kind of supplies we can bring with us, and any intel we have that could help us survive up there.
Davin Scobald. This would be a lot easier if we weren't sneaking around. How are we going to collect food and water without anyone figuring out what we're doing? I bet Brooks already has a plan to contain us all if we step out of line. He might even bring us back to the old days. Ugh. Newton Wainwright. Why are we in such a rush to go outside? It'll still be cold and desolate next year, and the year after that too. I think you're all discounting the fact that we've been safe down here for centuries. It's not ideal, but it's the only home we have. You all need to pull your heads out of your asses.
Melanie Drayton. Shut up, Newt. If you're not going to contribute, you can leave. I'm sure I'm not the only one here thinking that whatever secrets the Overseer has, they can't be as dangerous as whatever's out there. Okay, we can all agree that Newton is full of shit, but we need to be prepared for whatever we might face out there.
Preston Margrave. I know this is off topic, and I don't know about you, but I never fully bought into the story about the heating elements deteriorating. No one from engineering will tell you that. They avoid it altogether. I think someone has been threatening them so they don't say anything. Not that they could do anything about it anyways. The head of electrical engineering is the overseer. He determines how much crude oil we take for refinement, how much of it gets made into diesel, and how fast we use it in the generators. Ronald Pearlson. None of the old-timers talk about these warmer days you conspiracy nuts talk about. Maybe find some proof before you start standing on your soapbox. Davin Scobald. If it isn't warmer, then why were our jackets and coats made more recently than everything else we wear? Are you sure your family isn't Canadian? Luke Charger. Everyone. None of that matters. The only reason everyone is here is to get a glimpse of the unknown. No one knows what'll happen if we stay down here, or what will happen if we go up there. Above ground, it will probably be different though. Have you ever experienced wind? Or snow? No? Well, I haven't either. Newton Wainwright. That's all well and good until the wind freezes your skin and you lose a few fingers. There's drowning too. None of us have experienced that, and I wager we're better off without the experience.
Marie Desandre. Is no one going to bring up how this Greenlander got into the vault in the first place? You mentioned outside, which he seemed to survive until the elements almost killed him, but how did he get in? Security found him near the atrium at 2 o'clock in the morning. No one woke up to the sound of the vault door being opened. Is it possible there's another entrance to the vault that we don't know about? Did he crawl through one of the pipes that leads from the outside? Think about this, people. If one person can get in, that means more people can. Regardless of whether the Overseer knows how it happened, I think we should be on our guard for the next while in case we find out he has friends who plan to come down looking for him. Laura Demeter. When do you think he'll wake up so we can ask him some questions, presuming the Overseer lets us get anywhere near him? Dr. Rebecca Feldspar. He's only been awake for very short periods. It's been hard keeping him stable. His pulse is weak, and I'm pretty sure he's going to lose multiple limbs. That's presuming he even survives the operations. He seems to know this, to some degree. All I can really do is try to ease his suffering. I don't think it would be fair to make him endure more than he already has.
Daniel Trejolie. Fuck that. Wake his ass up. Ask him where he came from and how we can get there. I don't want to be stuck down in this vault forever. Even if I end up freezing up there, it beats smelling at all your farts while I freeze down here.
Marie Desandre. That's enough now. We need a practical plan to gather supplies. Newton and Sean, you two can skim food supplies during your kitchen shifts. I'll be on water. Everyone can pack their own coats, balaclavas, and gloves. Medication will be tricky. Rebecca, I hope you can get a handle on that, okay? By the way, are you going to tell Troy your plan to leave the vault? I don't think he wants to go. Dr. Rebecca Feldspar. I'm not sure how he's going to take it. I haven't told him how I feel yet. I know I have to talk to him before we leave. I will eventually, when I figure out what I'm going to say. Marie Desandre. Fair enough, that's your business. I won't pry any further than I already have. That's most of the essentials handled. Everyone, you have your jobs, and if you think of any other ways to make sure our transition to the surface is as seamless as possible, come discuss them with me, and we'll figure out a way to add it to the plan.
Newton Wainwright. When we go to the surface, I want to go to the city of Wainwright. Before we came to the city of Noatak, my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was forced to live in this vault. That city is where the Wainwright family call home. That city is my birthright. I have family there. Some may have even survived the bombs. They might be able to help us. Daniel Trejolie. We know about the city of Wainwright. You never shut up about it. That place is way the hell up north. I use the term hell ironically because I'm only going there when I want my balls to freeze off. We should go south, towards Anchorage. If anyone survived the war, they're bound to be there.
Marie Desandre. Anchorage is hundreds of miles away. No one here is ready to make a walk like that. Besides, we already know the United States got pummeled during the war, or we wouldn't be here in the first place. We're better off going to Greenland, where our friend Gregor is from. Lucy Charger. Before anyone leaves the vault, it would be a good idea for people to grab their history textbooks. Global warming melted the Northwest Passage. There was a new trade route created that became a valuable shipping route for Canada and Greenland. Some people claim that's why the USA wanted to annex Canada. We all know the pipeline attack that really kicked off the war, but that stretch of water might still be occupied. I noticed nobody brought that up. It's just one potential obstacle among many that could be waiting for us. Who knows how much Alaska has changed in 219 years?
Daniel Trejoli. Where did you read that?
Lucy Charger. Liberated Canada, issue number 61. There was a bit on the back panel about Canadian dissidents using the newly melted Northwest Passage to create a pirate militia to combat the American invasion and protect free trade, whatever that last part means.
David Fullmeister. So we still don't know where we're going or how to get there. What happens when we run out of food? Where are we going to make camp? How are we going to make camp? We'll need some protection as well. Who knows whether Ursus maritimus is still around, or if it's devolved into something more feral. Those things seem pretty relevant for the journey we plan to go on. Consider this too. Before the war, before we were born, the days and nights in Alaska would vary wildly with the seasons. Who's to say that still isn't happening? Given the time of year it is, we'll probably encounter quite a bit of darkness. Have you guys thought about lights?
Marie Desandra. I have a plan for some of those things. We all have personal lights for use during pipe inspection days. David, you of all people should know that. I know how much you love being the one shoved down there to unclog the larger pipes. There's nothing we can do about the wildlife except arm ourselves accordingly. As for camp, we don't have a plan for that yet. I was hoping someone with deft hands could go through the old discarded clothing and sew us up some tents that can protect us from the elements. There's nothing I can do about the sun, though. I'm very sorry. You're right, though. We need an accurate map of where we're going. Everyone knows our Pip-Boys don't have much beyond the lower 48. Even our maps for Alaska stop at the Canadian border, which doesn't make any sense to me. We're going to have to find a way into the Overseer's office to get a hold of Gregor's Pip-Boy.
Daniel Trejoli. I'm probably the sneakiest. I've got a light step, and no problem silent running. I'm practically a ninja and your best infiltrator. Luke Charger. That settles that. You'll also sneak us some guns and ammunition, too. You've got a strong back. You can be the one carrying them for the long haul. It'll be your burden to bear.
Melanie Drayton. Wouldn't it be easier to try and convince someone on the security force to join us? I have no problems with Daniel going after the Pip-Boy, but the armory is a bit better protected. I'm pretty sure that door has a master lock on it. Paige Queen. I'll try my best to see if I can get someone from the security team on our side. It would be good to have some muscle. Yes, I see you, Ronald. You're definitely strong, but you're not always the brightest, my big friend. You have a good heart, but you lack finesse.
Preston Margrave. Anders would probably be our best bet. He's always talked about how his family liked to ranch before the war. Sometimes I see him staring at the vault door with this weird look in his eye. I bet if you talked to him real sweet-like, he'd probably come around to the idea eventually.
Marie Desandra. I think we have a solid plan moving forward. If everyone does their jobs, we should have enough equipment when we leave the vault. I still don't know how we're going to open the vault door without anyone getting wise to what we're doing. Maybe we can find out how Gregor got in without anyone noticing. Once we get the maps off our intruder's Pip-Boy, we can plot a course with stops along the way and maybe places we can scavenge extra camping supplies. There has to be places between here and Greenland to restock. If he was able to make it all the way here before he succumbed to his infirmaries, he must have found a way. So will we. If no one has any other points they'd like to make, I'm going to conclude this meeting, archive these minutes, and encrypt them.
Everyone nods.
Marie Desandra. Meeting adjourned. We hope you enjoyed our story. Thank you again for joining us. If you'd like to hear more about why war never changes, please subscribe to get regular updates on the adventures of the dwellers from Vault 710. If you're excited about the expanding Fallout universe, please feel free to tell your friends and spread the word. If you'd like to contribute, we invite you to join our Patreon. Subscribers will get access to episodes 1 week early. Our hope is that these stories help fill the void of being unable to play Fallout 5.